Welcome to the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast, where we explore the transformative power of inclusivity and the strength found in vulnerability. I'm your host, Lindsay Mazza, and with each episode, together we will go on a journey of reconnecting with all parts of ourselves to foster healing and inspire a more inclusive and compassionate world for all. So grab your headphones and settle in for soul-fulfilling discussions that will make you laugh, provoke thought, and be the catalyst for growth. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast. I'm so excited today. We have a very special guest, Natalia Love Angelou. She's a spiritual mentor, metaphysical minister, and I'm so grateful to have found her and have her in my life as one of my spiritual healers and a friend. So I want to welcome you. Thanks for coming, Natalia.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. I am so proud of you and it's truly an honor. I love your dream and the energy you carry. So I'm very excited to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So do you want to tell us all of the magical things that you do?
Okay, yes. Well, I have been in the spiritual development world for 20 years. I was one of those children that were clairvoyant and I saw things growing up and my religion, I was growing up Catholic and I kind of had a little fear of all those things. So I had to like break free from that and really jump into the metaphysical, mystical realms. So I am now a metaphysical practitioner and I am a certified hypnotherapist and a Reiki Master. But instead of the labels, what I feel is I love to amplify love and I love supporting my community and I love teaching different spiritual modalities and being an anchor of the positive energy where we live. So I believe that we're all connected and that the body, mind, spirit, emotions, we're multifaceted and multi-layered beings. So it's important to have harmony and balance. I'm currently in yoga teacher training. So I'm telling you, I've been loving to learn. Like it's never too late to just keep on learning.
I love that. You know, it's interesting because I was also raised Catholic and I, have my spiritual world as well. And when I run into people who were raised in a specific religion, that, they always ask the question like, how did you make that transition? Because this is such a no-no in Catholicism or any religious group. And my answer always is, one doesn't cancel the other out. I think that where the divisiveness comes in is from the fear mongering. And that's the stuff that I have never subscribed to because I don't believe that spirit, God, universe carries darkness. I think that that's a human trait. And that's where, right, that's where I started to pull away. And I would just love to hear your take on that.
Okay, you hit it right there in the nail. That is so true. And that's what I did not resonate with as well. I remember going to confession and I didn't have anything to confess and I had to lie.
Me too.
Right?
Me too. I would lie to the priest every time. I'd make the same thing up. Sorry for fighting with my brother. Sorry for fighting with my parents.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. And it was like an anxiety driven thing. It's like, oh my God, I didn't do anything wrong, but I gotta say something. I have to lie. And that fear inside doesn't do good for your nervous system. So I was very shy and anxious and I had so much fear growing up, like a phobia of the dark, a phobia of my gifts, a phobia of the devil, phobia of all this stuff. And I did not like that feeling. So I had to start asking God, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do with my life? And then slowly I was introduced with different modalities. And then I literally heard intuitively after my firstborn, so this is 2001, I said, what is my purpose? And I heard you're an energy healer. I did not know what that meant. So that's what really got me in is that when I was like starting to like leave the religion, I would dabble onto different other things like okay, the Catholic didn't feel good because it gave me too much fear. So then I went to Pentecostal Christian church and I love the jumping up and down and that high vibe energy because it's totally different than the Catholic one. But what I used to do was And then the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. If I'm doing something wrong, please forgive me. And I would keep on going until I found I searched that day energy healer, and that's when I found Reiki. I'm like, what is this? I had no idea what it was, but it really helped me find myself, because my first teacher, my Reiki Master, she is indigenous, and she brought me into her women's circles for 4 years, and I learned a lot about earth-based spirituality, and that was like a really good soft cushioning into letting go of the fears, letting go of and realizing, hey, we're all connected, and have an appreciation for Mother Earth. And that's when I started getting into my goddess work as well. I believe that every religion is what we need for our moment in time. Every single human being, we're all unique, and there's no wrong for whatever you resonate with. But in my belief, there's one higher power, and that one higher power is not going to judge you if you took this route to get to the top of the mountain, or this route, because the belief is the same, the love is the same, the principle of being kind is the same, and then the separation is what the humans cause. To be honest, if we didn't look at race and religion, we wouldn't have all these wars in this world right now. So the separation, what human trait is, that's not a God trait. I believe that God's not saying, hey, you know what, only this way. It's whatever makes you feel comfortable. So I could go on and on about this. Obviously, religion, politics, all those things are a no-no, but I'm glad you brought this up.
Yes, I know, because
we're here to support people, and whatever they feel. Like I have Reiki students who are Catholic, who are Christian, Mormon, and I was like, what? Wow. So there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful people from all walks of life and all different religions. It's not the religion that makes the person. It's their heart. It's their energy. It's their belief system that makes the person. Because there could be so many beautiful people in all religions, but there can also be so many toxic people in all religions, and even in spirituality as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I love that. And I love the ability of spirituality to really connect people on a different level, because when you peel back all of these man-made rules, and you are able to understand energies and see people for what their soul has to offer, not what their words are saying, I think that that's when we really connect on a deep level. And I think that that's what creates community.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's the feeling that makes the energy, the intention that makes an impact.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the words can be just all calculated, but what is behind the words? What is their natural state of beingness? What is their essence? And that's what truly matters. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. And we'll find love once we can connect heart to heart in that way.
Totally. And I think that, and that's the purpose of this podcast, as is to create a safe space where everybody's welcome. And it doesn't matter what your background is, where you came from. If your goal in this lifetime is to be the best version of you and to lead with kindness, then that's who's part of our community. That's who we want as part of our community. Nothing else matters. And I think that that's, I think talking about religion can be very divisive. And that's why I'm really careful about the wording that I use, because I never want somebody to think when I use the word, God, that I'm excluding other people who believe in someone else. So I think it's really important for us to be clear that whatever you call it, if you believe in a higher power, a higher energy, that's what makes us all connected.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, because yes, I use that word just now because now I don't have a trigger to it. But I remember when I was first
Yes.
leaving religion and get into spirituality, I had a trigger in it. And it was just creator, universe, source, power. But now it's like whatever you call, it could be Allah, it could be Jah, it could be God, it could be Lord, it could be I am that I am. Whatever you resonate with is what you are supposed to have at this moment in time. And it's so important to include everyone. I have a best friend who's a Christian minister, but she showed me her new Bible, and it's different. They actually allow like, the new of how we are right now with the, doesn't matter what gender you are and so on. And I was so impressed. And she's actually in university in Toronto studying theology and divinity, and like she's really into it, but they're being taught everything. And the new books, I feel that as we evolve, human beings evolve, we are not the same human beings that was on the land when Jesus was walking or beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
that book was there at that moment in time for those beings, but we have ascended. So it makes sense to have newer information. It makes sense why haven't they, updated things, because we have evolved. One thing that resonate with me when I was like breaking free from the religion was, why does it have the word slave in it? Like, I know that the universe God that I believe in will not say, "Hey, keep your slave and be nice to it." That's a human that said that, not someone channeling the information. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
big one for me, because my husband's black, and I was like, that is not God, and that's what made
Mm-hmm.
me comfortable with letting that go, because I feel like the Almighty, the universe source, will not say put someone underneath you, and will not say, hey, we're better than you because of your sex preference. I do same sex ceremonies. I support all, and it doesn't matter. I love, because love is love. It's that
Mm-hmm.
beautiful energy that just amplifies and grows things. And it's important to have love within ourselves so we can give it to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, if something feels like feels like it's off, it is, right? I think that might be a Maya Angelou quote. I don't want to misstate that, but and I think that people crave being part of a religious organization because as humans, from an evolution perspective, a biological one, we need community. Without community, that's when you don't survive. Like your health is not good. And I think that it's so powerful that the spiritual community is growing so that people can, right, be part of something different, something that resonates with them, and that we're able to talk about this so freely so people can feel like they're not alone. and and I know that that's important to both of us.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. The community is exactly what you said, that our ancestors needed each other. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they said it takes a village to raise a child. Our ancestors were all part of the community, and it's so
Yes.
important to find a community that you feel a sense of belongingness.
Yeah.
And whether it's anywhere, it could be playing golf, it could be fishing, that could be your religion, because that's when you feel connected to your own source power. So,
Mm-hmm.
or it doesn't have to be religion. I mean, a spiritual experience. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, having a community in whatever way you feel a belongingness is so important, because when we don't
Yeah.
have each other, that's when our mind spirals, and then that's when people struggle, because we are beings that need partnerships. We're beings that need that connections with other beings. And there's a lot of people that when they don't have a sense of belongingness or a community, then they feel more, sadness within themselves. And it's, something that some people struggle with. So I love to support people and help them feel a sense of community in my goddess circles or in my classes. And, even like you doing this podcast, you are building your community right now, because you're building a beautiful platform for other people who have other diverse things, will feel a sense of like, oh my gosh, I belong here. She sees me.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like me. Oh my goodness, I need to connect with her more. And that's how you find your community, is by seeing the commonness in each other.
Yeah, I love that. It's beautiful. And that is absolutely my goal and passion with doing this. And I think one thing that I would love to talk about is when I know for me, my experience when I sort of went off the beaten path and really dove into spirituality and Reiki, it was a lonely road initially. I didn't really have peers that were interested or even knew about it. So really had to go out on my own. And I think that that's very intimidating for people. And it feels insurmountable in a lot of ways. So as someone who's been doing this for 20 years, because now the spiritual world is much more commonplace. So I can imagine it was not that way when you dove in. Do you want to touch on that a little bit and talk about how because you built your own community. And I just think that's beautiful. And I think a lot of people could benefit to hear about that.
Okay. I remember feeling that loneliness and feeling so confused and looking for other people. I was lucky and fortunate that my Reiki Master was Indigenous, because we had a little Indigenous circle every month and learned about her beliefs and connected with Earth in that way. And that to me was like a little small community. But I had my father, he was judging me because he's a Christian. So I was labeled a witch. I was labeled all these things, like, what are you doing? Like, especially when I started doing ceremonies for all genders and sexes, he was not happy with the same-sex ceremonies. So I lost a lot of family. My father now, he's in my life, but anyways, but I had to put up boundaries, and I had to say, I'm choosing this for me. And I don't like the projections that people have, because that's not true. So it was a little challenging not having support from family. And but because I was able to connect with the Reiki Master and the other sisters there, it was a little community, but it was just a foundation. And then I took that foundation. I said, okay, well, we need more, because I love, learning about the different archetypes. And once I, learned about like loving myself fully and working with the goddesses, I was like, I'm going to have to do something. So that's when I started the Goddess Circles in 2009, because I felt like, well, no one's doing this out here. There's no women's circles. There's no one's doing anything like this. And then that's when I started connecting with other people who were very curious. And that's when I started building my own community, because my teacher stopped doing her work and started working somewhere else in Toronto. And so it was like just a beautiful unfoldment. But when you're exploring anything, you have to do it for yourself. You stop the people pleasing. You don't have to have your mother on board with you, your father on board, or your cousins on board. Do what feels right for you. And that's the thing. In our society, we were so conditioned to people please. Even talking about our ancestors, because if they didn't have the same mentality as the other members in the community, they'll be outcasted. And outcasted means lose supply of food, lose supply of babysitting and water, and you're an enemy and they don't like you, and you lonely dying in the cave. So we were conditioned to people please, to fit in, to be liked, and to be connected with other people. So dismantling that good girl archetype, dismantling that need to be liked by everyone, and the people pleasing, and start going within and saying, hey, no, this is what I truly desire. And then that energy is going to attract the other people who are in the same frequency, and then you grow from there.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's like a couple things from that. I think that one, this is inspiring for people to understand that it's okay to go out alone initially, because I think when you feel that strong calling to do something that's different than other people, and it's rooted from a place of kindness and wanting to evolve as a human, that's your soul screaming at you, right? And that voice is going to keep getting louder, and then what's going to happen is you'll start getting sick physically, emotionally, because you're denying a core part of yourself, and that's part of your soul's journey here to make a difference for other people.
Yes, I love that. Exactly. And people don't realize that, but when they're not aligned to their authenticity, and they're not listening to their inner guidance system, to their intuition, and they're holding on to so much emotions and stuck energy, that's how dis-ease is created, because it's not ease. It's like discomfort and stress. And so we do have so much responsibility within our mental world, or physical or spiritual, to have harmony. Everything is connected. And when people don't realize that, and they're struggling with something, and they think it's an outside source, but if we really look at the metaphysical meaning of everything, we will see, oh yeah, I was carrying this fear, and that's why I got this backache, or so on. So it's important to really be aligned to your authenticity and see, how am I feeling right now? Truly be honest with that, because every emotion creates energy.
I love that so much. And something that came to me when I was chatting with another friend, and I think it was a download of some sorts, because those moments where it's like you just connect the dots. It's like, oh, a light bulb moment. And it was that everybody's seeking alignment, right? And everybody wants to manifest the life beyond their wildest dreams. And we're reaching for enlightenment. But what I think is lost on people is that until you are prepared to acknowledge all of the parts of yourself, you are not able to show up in the world as your authentic self, and you will not be able to reach enlightenment or alignment until you do that work. That's going to prevent you from getting to that next level. And that was my experience. Like, until I started to show up as like, okay, this is me. This is all of me. Here are the vulnerable parts. I'm going to sit with them. I'm going to love all the parts of me. And then I can show up in the world unmasked, right?
Exactly.
And that's when life opens up. And that's what you did too, based on your journey.
Yes, so true. It's so important to know all parts are welcomed here, because
Yes.
every single experience has made us who we are. So even the ugly experiences that we had, and the toxic people we let go of, all those experiences made us who we are. So we bless them and we thank them by addressing all those parts, the inner child part, the teenager part, and even the sadness, the sacred anger, the all feelings are valid, but allowing it to move through you, and addressing it, and acknowledging it. Okay, right now, what is inside me? I may be feeling sad. Okay, so I like the what is alive in me right now. We see that in my goddess work. What is
Oh,
alive in
yeah.
me? Maybe it's joy, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's fear. Okay, every experience, every feeling is there for you. Asking that inner world, where is this coming from? Oh, maybe it's coming because of, so and so's programming. It could have been from inner child programming. It could have been from your parents, or maybe it's your own limiting beliefs, your inner critic, your
Yes.
ego mind. And I like to say, Tony Robbins gave me this. It's a beautiful mind or the suffering mind. We get to decide, which mind do you want? And then
I
Wayne
love
Dyer
that.
says, it's a spirit mind or the ego mind. Which one? So
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a certified hypnotherapist, I work a lot with reprogramming the subconscious mind, because 90% of the time we are our own enemies. We thinking those people are thinking these things, da, 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 da. It's our inner critic. In reality, no one thinks that much about us that we think that they think about us. So helping people let go of that anxiety, and helping you address all those parts of you, allows you to let go of the shackles, let go of the prison that we created for ourselves, and realize, hey, no, I don't need this person to validate me. I don't need this person to like me. And hey, I'm allowed to feel sad right now. I'm allowed to feel angry right now, because this was a hurtful experience. Or I'm
Yeah.
safe to feel vulnerable. And that was
Mm-hmm.
a big thing for me. I didn't feel safe to feel vulnerable for so long. So when I went through health scares, I didn't tell my spiritual community, because I had fear of, oh, they're going to judge me. And that was my own belief system, thinking, oh, if I told them that I had this, I went through this period in 2020 during the pandemic, and I ended up growing a mole, and intuitively I knew this wasn't right, and it was skin cancer, and but I didn't tell anybody, because I didn't feel safe. I told like one or two friends, but they didn't meet me with love, and then I realized, okay, I can't tell anyone, because if I tell people, it's going to help grow the fear. And that's also not good. But I realized after I worked with therapists, I realized that, oh my gosh, I did not feel safe to be vulnerable. Because as a child, when I
Yeah.
was vulnerable, I was abused and I was conditioned to be quiet. I was
Right.
conditioned to shut up. No one cares. So I didn't notice it at that time in 2020. I was like, I'm not telling anyone because they're going to have low vibration, low energy, and they're just going to make me feel sad. And sadness is going to make this grow. So I got to think positive all the time. But no, I wasn't allowing myself to feel. And now, if I go through anything, allow myself to feel it. It's okay to feel it because feeling sad or feeling angry or feeling any other emotion that's not happy is not a bad thing. It's just your body processing the energy and you move it. I love ecstatic dance, and I started ecstatic dancing since the pandemic, and I have dropped a lot of weight, and I have let go of so much blocked energies because you're literally moving
Mm-hmm.
your body. Your body has so much to teach you, and the energy gets stuck there if we don't listen. So I know that we can heal anything. And I healed that timeline because I was diagnosed with early stages of basal melanoma and I thought positive. I did my inner work, but I also, got support, massage, and so on. And then I reversed that. And the doctor, from 30 days and having the surgery, he was like, oh, no, you never had cancer. It was just precancerous. But at that
Wow.
time, I realized that was a timeline jump. And every decision we make, every decision is an opportunity to shift the timeline. And that opportunity was my universe, my creator saying to me, do you want to leave? Because right now it's a pandemic and it's COVID time. This is an exit point. We have many
Yeah.
exit points. Do you want to leave or do you want to stay in Earth? And I was like, no, I choose life. I choose life. I'm like, okay. And that's why I'm here today.
Yes.
I find humor in all the pain. It's like, what is this
Yes.
teaching me? No, I want to live still.
And I think that that's also key, though, is that everybody has their trials and tribulations. And when you use those tough moments as a learning opportunity versus succumbing to the victim mentality, right? Like we're all victims of difficult times and hard circumstances, and some people have harder circumstances than others, but in every scenario there is an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to zoom out and look at it from a third party perspective. And I think that that's how you continue to evolve, right? Because somebody who wasn't as evolved as you, Natalia, that could have stopped their life, that situation. But you made a choice,
Yes, thank you.
right?
Thank you very much because at that time I needed to, like feel more safe. And if I didn't feel safe with certain people, you're absolutely right. I made a choice to, like leap and not dwell in that energy of sadness because it's okay to feel sad or so on, but for how long? Don't take
Right.
like weeks and weeks. Feel it, but then what can you do to help yourself to align back to your divine? Align to your divine at all times is what I say to get back to your state of harmony, your state of bliss. And okay, you can feel this, but then what is your truth? What do you really want? And
Mm-hmm.
you're absolutely right because I see a lot of clients who something smaller than what happened to me, and that ends their whole world, and they can't sleep at night, and they get insomnia and things like that. Or
Yeah.
it could be as simple as they have a child, and their child is with a partner they don't like, and
Right.
and they just worry so much about that situation, but they have to realize that it's the child's choice because the child's like in their 20s. It's a child's choice, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
let go of the worry because worrying is like praying for something you don't want to have happen. And hey, we don't need
Yeah.
to worry about that. We have to let it go and give it to your own higher power.
And I think, it's when you start going on this healing journey, I think one of the challenges is that everyone in your life, you want to help them see the light as well, right? Do you, right? It's like, okay, just meditate, just do these things, like do your inner child work because you don't want to see them suffering. But I think that an important part of the process is accepting that all of our souls have chosen a journey, and we have different journeys. And the best way to help other people is by worrying about yourself and leveling up. And then the people that are meant to continue on that journey with you will level up alongside because they'll feel the change in your energy. And that's all the worrying you have to do. Worry about yourself.
I
Right?
love that. Exactly. Exactly. Because I like to view it as like different books, right? Like having a book, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different chapters in the book. And you may be in this chapter 11, and then maybe chapter 2 in their spiritual world. And you can't just grab them and make them like grab their arms, come to chapter 11 right now, because they won't
Right.
understand. They miss the whole depth of the plot twists of the book and the character
Right.
development of the book. So like, how are they going to understand what you're saying? How are they going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love this chapter 11 if they haven't done the other ones in between? And that means their soul has to evolve in their own way, and it may not be in this lifetime, it may be in other times. So we're not responsible to make people think the way we think or jump on and do this because this is the right way, because we're in that chapter, we're in that frequency, we're
Right.
in that dimension, and they are not. And we have to be okay with where people at. I have family members, if they don't understand what I'm saying, I'm like, yoga will help that sciatic pain. You know what, let's do some yoga together. And they don't want to do it, and so on. But it's like, okay, well, I'm here if you want to have some of these answers, but I'm not going to give you the answers for your chapter 3 because I've done that already. And that's, another person can teach you that. And it's important to know, hey, we're not responsible for anyone else, even if it's your
No.
child, even if it's your lover or your husband or your wife or your partner. You're only responsible for yourself in terms of your own
Yes.
spiritual growth. Of course, as a mother, and if you have a baby, you're responsible. Be real. Don't take everything I say literally. You're responsible for your children 18 and under, okay? But after that, then you're not. They get to choose what they want to do with their life.
Yes. Yes. But the children will shift with you, which is the beautiful thing, right? Because children are so connected to their parents.
Yeah.
And as you shift your energy, it positively impacts them as well, which is just a really cool thing to watch. I've watched it with friends of mine that have children. As they level up, their kids just they flourish, and I think that's beautiful.
All my kids have crystals in their room, and they may have crystals
Yes.
under the pillow too. Oopsie. And
Yeah.
this one will give you good dreams.
Right.
And they like it. So
Yeah, I
yes,
love that.
exactly. When they're young and you teach them, certain little tools, and they will resonate with it because they see how you live, and they're like, oh yeah, this does help. So yeah, it's good to have positive role models, and the children are like little sponges, and they also have their own
Hmm.
unique soul and their own unique timeline. They get to be okay with whatever they decide. If they decide
Yeah,
like, hey, you know what, I don't want to be spiritual like you, I'm going to do this instead, and I'll support them in whatever they decide.
absolutely. And so one thing that I want to talk about, because I think that people get really overwhelmed with how do they take that first step, or they're they're in a tough time right now. So, we're recording on November 6th, which is the day after the American election, and we're not here to talk politics, but there's a lot of feelings internationally about this. We're both in Canada, and where Canada is very tuned in to what happens in America. So I know there's a lot of collective energy today, and there has been the last little while. I think there's a collective energetic shift. That's my sense of things. So, what would you, regardless of whatever, you know, um, person you were hoping got in, there's feelings either way. So, what would be a tip that you would give people to bring themselves back to center in this chaotic energy?
Mm. I'm bringing some Palo Santo. Palo Santo is called Holy Wood, and it's found in South
Yeah.
America, where my ancestors and my bloodline is from. And the biggest thing right now is to make sure that you let go of any emotions such as fear, anger, because holding on to it, the Buddhist quote, hold on to anger is like holding on to hot coals. You're the one who gets burned. This is time to like take care of your inner world. Do what you need to do to feel balanced. If it's hiring a therapist, if it's seeing a spiritual healer for Reiki or any energy attunements, if it's praying to your higher power, if it's meditating. I like to go for love nature walks. So I'm going hiking every day. I'm outside in the elements to ground, to connect to the earth. So you could ground by either walking outside nature, going beside a lake or the ocean, and just connecting with the elements in the water to help you to move through any emotions. So grounding, even walking barefoot or hugging a tree, yoga, meditation, journaling, seeing someone who can help you invest in your mental health, and even moving your body, working out, punching a bag, and
getting the energy out
to your higher power. It's like, okay, I trust that this happened for a reason. I don't know the reason. I don't need to know, but I pray for world peace. I pray that the universe source can influence the people in power so they can have more compassion for all people, so the world can be better, so the women will have the rights to choose whatever they want to do with their bodies. We're in the 21st century. Like, I can't believe how backwards they went. I don't follow politics, but I get some stuff here and there from family members. My mother-in-law is a lawyer and she follows everything, and I say I only want sprinkles. So I just heard what happened, like right now, like literally right before we jumped on this call. I'm like, oh, I just send love.
love.
My thing is to do something that you can make a change. If it's volunteering at a food bank, if it's volunteering at an animal shelter, if it's writing love notes and compliments to your neighbors, or helping your lonely neighbor with the groceries, or doing something of purpose, that does help you feel better too. When you can give your time or your energy or your prayers to others, you receive. And so it's important to be kind to each other. Don't judge anyone, because it doesn't matter what you believe and who you think should have won. It has happened, and dwelling about it is not going to change anything. So what are you going to do to make yourself feel better moving forward? Taking care of mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and supporting the people, and make sure you feel supported as well. Yeah, it is. It is very difficult times for sure that we're going through, even besides the election, with the whole state of the world right now. So instead of following with everything, because that hurts me as an empath, I pray for the children. I pray for the people who are suffering right now. And even though you think the prayer is just like, nothing, if it's not your belief system, no, the power of energy is the power of intention. So I don't have to use the word prayer that bothers people. I could use the word, energy, and putting out the intention of world peace. I love the song of John Lennon, imagine all the people, like the love, like that is a beautiful anthem right now. We should listen to.
I totally agree. And I don't think people are aware of that, is, you sitting in a moment of intention to send love to whoever needs it helps shift the collective energy. So it doesn't just go into the ether. It helps everybody. And like you said, the quickest way to shift your energy is to do something for someone else, right? To be in service for somebody else. And that can be as simple as texting a friend that you haven't talked to in a while and say, how are you doing today? Is there anything that I can do for you? Or give somebody a compliment when you go to the store. It's such an easy, it's such an easy shift, and the positivity reverberates, right? Because you can make somebody's day, and that overall helps the world. So I love that. And I think that that is such a beautiful place for us to end today. I know we're going to, we're going to have Natalia on many more times because there's so many things to talk about and we've just scratched the surface. But do you want to just tell people how to get in touch with you, Natalia? Because you do so many beautiful things. And Natalia is one of my, I say to people that Natalia is the closest thing to magic you'll ever experience when you have Reiki. And I just love her. And I feel blessed to have her in my life. And that is another thing that I would tell people is find somebody that is part of your team who can help you heal.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I'm so honored. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love calling in the magic all the time. I believe in that. Magic, miracles, and blessings. It is our birthright to receive the magic, miracles, and blessings. It's our birthright. Yes. We are connected to the magic, miracles, and blessings, and it's all there for us. So thank you for your love. So I have a website. My name is Natalia Love Angelou.com. So the website is just www.natalialoveangelou.com. And then I also have Instagram, and it's the real Natalia Love Angelou, because I was hacked before and lost 10 years worth of content, but that's okay because I rebuild myself. So that's why I have the real Natalia. Then you'll find me there. But my website has the links to all my social platforms. And yes, and you are inspiring me to redust off my podcast. And I do a podcast called Amplify Love with Natalia Love Angelou, that because of you, I'm going to be like, hey, I got to dust off this stuff and do it again, because I'm so inspired by you too, because I feel that it's a beautiful energy exchange, like when you have synergy and when you have someone who is, of the same energy, it's like a beautiful dance. It's like you say, I help you bring the magic in, but then now you're helping me to reevaluate my podcast and to bring the magic back in as well. So it's a circle of life. It's a dance. It's a beautiful energy movement always. So I appreciate you, and I'm so proud of you, and I am so excited to see you again here in this beautiful podcast that you have, because I love your vision, and I'm so proud of you for showing up. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, everybody, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. Feedback and episode ideas helps us reach more listeners. I would love to connect with you further. You can visit my website at lindsaymaza.com and add me on Instagram at lindsay.d.maza. Until next time, keep sharing your stories and vulnerabilities, because one story at a time connects us all.